I'm disappointed with my husband's gift giving and no longer want gifts that take up space. My husband does put some thought into his gifts, but usually they're things I don't really want / can't really use and end up collecting dust / cluttering the house because I feel rude giving it away or chucking it. Especially now that we have a toddler, our time for hobbies is basically limited to the 3 hours between his bedtime and ours, where we also have other things to do. I'd rather spend that time with him typically than drawing. The gift was related to drawing, which I used to do when I was younger but am no longer really interested in outside of digital art, for example. On my birthday, I ended up planning the day to go to a festival, and he wanted to leave early because of our son's bedtime, even though we would have been fine staying longer and aren't that strict about bedtime anyway. If he planned the trip instead for my birthday, I would have been much happier than with the thing he gave me. Or once he made me an ice cream cake, I was so happy with that. For my 30th, he didn't buy me a cake or anything, just that thing. Maybe I'm too picky, but the gifts I typically give him do end up getting at least a decent amount of use. I'd plan an event for him to go to, but since he's a bit of a homebody, I question if I'm doing it more for me, even if it's his favorite band or whatever. So what I do? I don't want to be rude and say, "Thanks, that was thoughtful, but I'm never going to use this, but I'm not even sure I opened that thing he got me tbh." Comment. Wait, you're telling me you planned your own day for your birthday at the festival and then he wanted to leave early? I don't know, in my opinion, he's not putting a lot of thought into your birthday and kind of just buys things so he can say he gave you something, or at least that's how it seems. I would let him know that you would appreciate more meaningful gifts like experiences instead of just items. Start a few different gift wish lists for things he can choose from. Share those lists with him. Also share your expectations with him for what you're expecting at different occasions. E.g., if it's Valentine's Day, and you want breakfast in bed, flowers, a card with a sweet handwritten message, dinner somewhere nice on the day that he pre-books, then share all those expectations with him. Even better would be to write it all out for him after the discussion. Basically give him the secret formula to making you feel loved and cherished. Next story 2. I'm thinking of leaving my BF due to his financial debts, but I'm also thinking of staying and helping him through his financial situation. Which do you think should I go with? My BF comes from a broken home. He, and his younger siblings, too, grew up in the same subdivision as their dad, but in a different house since their dad got remarried, no kids, and the stepmom is okay. The dad provided them with just enough financial support for school and food, just enough since all three grew up skinny. Sometimes, even, they wouldn't have anything to eat since the dad would sometimes struggle financially. Their mom is in a different town barely making ends meet trying to support herself and them, Sibs and BF when BF was younger, as well. BF never really had a good role model because none of his parents were around much. He grew up around his friends who were very much supported by their parents' wants and needs, which is why he built up a sort of material envy, not good, I know, towards them. Other than that, he also tried to support himself with stuff, needs, his parents couldn't provide. He tried to find ways on getting things for himself, through gambling so he could get more money, etc., but all he got was even more debt. He got into a lot of trouble growing up, troubles where his dad was the one to bail him out of each one. These situations built up a sort of remorse and disappointment in his dad. Me, the GF has a stable job, and with his debts he accrued when we were not yet together, running after him, I tried to offer him help, he'd pay me back, but at least I won't be running after him day after day, because I understood his situation and I only wanted a fresh start for him. He would accept my help since, aside from the fact that he doesn't want me to get involved in his troubles, he also wants to be able to solve his problems on his own. I still insisted. This year, BF was hired into a much better job than he had before, one with a reasonable pay, so he considered accepting my help since he could now pay me back even little by little, which was okay. Unfortunately, even with his new job, he's still barely making ends meet due to his past debts, more past debts that he didn't tell me about. But to face the issue head on, we talked about me helping him budget his finances where he could still eat while paying off his debts. Oftentimes though, I would still offer to help him through tight times since he would barely have anything left for food. Things were going well, and he was even supposed to be able to pay off the last of his debts this month. But to make matters worse, it turns out he's still trying to gamble until now. I was only made aware of it after he incurred, again, a lot of debt, since in his mind, he could solve all of his financial problems if he could only get lucky once. Yeah, that's the point in gambling. The reason, his dad is pressuring/obligating him BF to help him dad to give financial support in his BF siblings' education, school allowance. Despite their history, there's still this part inside him that wants to prove something to his dad/his parents, which most of us could relate to, which led him to make decisions that could only put him in worse positions. Comment. He is a gambler and probably an addict. No amount of help from anyone will ever solve his financial problems. I speak from personal experience of a lifetime with a male parent who persisted for 70 years thinking that financial security was only one card, one horse race, one toss of the dice away. Run. You tried to help him without addressing a significant root issue of all the debt, gambling addiction. Managing finances will do very little if his addiction isn't under control. And it may take years for that to happen, or might not happen if there is even a moment of weakness. He needs professional help to work on that. Something you can offer, but just be aware that you risk being dragged into a whirlwind of debt and lies that you might end up trapped in yourself. He's constantly withholding information and keeping secrets. That alone makes it hard to trust him with any of your money, and who knows what other secrets you might not know about, how deep this void of debt truly is. I'd suggest against it. You gave him so many chances to be honest and open, and he's squandered each chance with lies. It sucks that his family can't be his support, but he has friends and he's relied on himself this far. Your love comes at a heavy risk, so think carefully. Your boyfriend has a gambling addiction he's refusing to take seriously. That's the only piece of information you should be weighing when it comes to whether sticking around and trying to get him out of debt is a good investment. Well, maybe the part where he's too proud to admit when he needs help is also relevant, but it wouldn't surprise me if even that's just an excuse for why he keeps hiding things from you. Because all the stuff about his background? Definitely not an excuse for the kind of bad decisions he keeps making. Next story 3. I am in a tense fight with my fiancé for only wanting to get married for insurance and not valuing legal marriage as much as the actual wedding. How do I handle this? I'm in a huge fight for not vaulting the legal marriage to my fiancé as much as the actual wedding ceremony. What should I do? In short, me and my partner have had a genuinely really great relationship over the past 4 years. And every stage of our relationship has just felt natural, happy, and right. From casually dating to moving into an apartment, to moving into a house together, getting a dog and some ferrets, and both of us advancing in our respective careers enough where we both have the rent and contribute as much as we can around the house. I now understand the feeling of knowing someone really is it. How easy it is to fall into wanting a family and knowing this is my person. So I decided to propose January of this year, and we have a scheduled wedding date of October 12, 2024. Here comes the issue though. I am 25 going on 26 very soon. She is 23 going on 24. I work for a non-profit that doesn't provide insurance, and she has a union job with incredible insurance. I will lose my coverage in a few months, and I do take antidepressants and regular medication. I believe in God and have always seen marriage as a vow between you and God to love and take care of this person until death do you part. To actually speak it into the world, but as an internal promise to the only thing more important than you or them, that this is a lifelong vow. That's why the only part of the wedding planning I've taken full charge of is working with vestry to set a date and get my church I attend every Sunday on board with the wedding. She is an atheist and sees the most important part of getting married as legally binding yourself to each other in the eyes of the law and the state. She sees the wedding as just a big party, didn't even want to get married in a church, and was most deeply concerned with booking a venue for the reception and a caterer. So as the time approaches where I'm going to lose my insurance, I think, and I've said, that I would like to get legally married soon, within the next few weeks. This has offended her deeply. She thinks that I don't care at all about actually getting married, and by doing that it ruins the whole point of being married, and just shows the only reason I want to get married is for my insurance. And I'm reality, that is true, the only reason I would like to get legally married right now is for insurance purposes. But I obviously want to get actually married for so many other reasons. Over the past 4 years our lives have merged and we've grown into actual adults, adulting as a tiny little family. And we both love each other. And I want to get married as a celebration of us, our family, our future, and vow to God and to everyone else that this is the life I'm devoted to. But I understand, in a smaller sense, why I could be seen as the asshole for wanting to legally marry for insurance before the ceremony. What should I do? Just go on Obamacare till our wedding date? I don't know how to convince her marriage matters while also getting legally married in a time frame where I don't lose my medication. Comment. Obamacare might be the best option here for you. Otto, hammering out differences in philosophies is always a good idea before things the marriage not. So, see how well y'all can navigate this difference. It sounds almost like you've both just let your relationship unfold and it's been so easy, you haven't had to navigate disagreements. If that's the case, now is your time. I think you should postpone the marriage. And get your things in order. That's a horrible reason to marry someone, so you can use their insurance. Both your points in marriage is right, but she has more sense on not wanting to marry you now. Your lack of insurance is not her fault or her problem. I would be really offended too, that your main reason to wanna marry is because you wanna piggyback on my insurance. She needs a partner, and if she marries you she's just gonna get another baggage. I see where she's coming from and why she is thinking twice. A passion job like nonprofits is fine, even commendable. But passion should never be on the front seat if you plan to start a family. Get a new job, buddy. Something that covers you with insurance and other benefits. Your health is your obligation and no one else's. It's okay if she's the breadwinner, but things like health insurance should be something you have for yourself, 'cause what if she leaves or dies when you get married? Do you plan to just lay on the sun?